burning, Satan churning, pits of fire getting higher somewhere in my head. Thoughtless raping, killing, hating, lying, stealing, evils willing, fornicating, devils waiting somewhere in my head. Demons flapping, devils laughing, churches burning, Satan churning, pits of fire getting higher somewhere in my head. Thoughtless raping, killing, hating, lying, stealing, evils willing, fornicating, devils waiting somewhere in my head.
A lot of these elders need to hear the truth, man. It might not be what you want to hear. You need to be told what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. But necessarily my truth might not be everyone else's truth. So what's truth? You know? I say my truth or truth, but like I said, my truth might not be someone else's truth. Then I start to question, so what's truth? A lot of these elders need to hear the truth, man. It might not be what you want to hear. You need to be told what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
If some of these platforms, because there's many channels here, and a lot of them actually do, if people were honest when they're coming onto the panels or chat, but they don't want to be honest with themselves. They want to tear down other people to disguise themselves. So what I get from that is people are insecure by using a false sense of security to mask it. They're not actually, they actually ever challenge themselves. What would that look like? Of course, they'll be picking up, well, what about you? I said, there you go again. You're deflecting at that point. It's about you. If it's always about you, then make it about you. Be the best me can be there. Be the most selfish person you can be. So my question would be, then why are you living with the rest of us?
A lot of these elders need to hear the truth, man. It might not be what you want to hear. You need to be told what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
We don't consider each other. That's why most people are not rationally selfish. They're too busy being fucking selfish.
So what's truth? You know? I say my truth or truth, but like I said, my truth might not be someone else's truth. Then I start to question, so what's truth? A lot of these elders need to hear the truth, man. It might not be what you want to hear.
We don't consider each other. That's why most people are not rationally selfish. They're too busy being fucking selfish.
A lot of these elders need to hear the truth, man. It might not be what you want to hear. You need to be told what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
We don't consider each other. That's why most people are not rationally selfish. They're too busy being fucking selfish.
A lot of these elders need to hear the truth, man. It might not be what you want to hear. You need to be told what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Because it doesn't serve them to, what, I'm going to sit there and hear them and say, okay, so should I tell them that they're caught up in their own world? I'm just going to replace myself. Axis, you can take over for a while. It's your shift.
Well, thank you, Dom. And Hello, friends and enemies of YouTube, children of the metaverse. I am recognizing the transition of the winter solstice and preparing the way for the new seeding and harvesting. And upon this endeavor of seeding and harvesting, I decided to become a GMO troll farmer for the evening. Now, this may not apply to everybody, and it may have no relevancy to you, but it is an endeavor nonetheless, and a new one. Start out the beginning of the new growth cycle. So, upon the appearance of what I would deem to be trolls, dissidents, disruptors, noisemakers, self projected philosophicals, semi intellectuals, and they become intrusive with their nature, they must be genetically just to the core genetically modified. So I suppose I'm a type of Monsanto, and I have discovered a formula in my laboratory to help genetically modify these trolls so that they're able to be farmed. That's right, farmed. So you understand where I'm coming from and the concept of it. I will be GMOing trolls only to farm them. And we will see what kind of harvest comes from that. Should be an interesting one. But I have noticed since I've been up and during the course of my day that they have obviously decided to destroy the field in which they will be harvested in. Reluctant seeds. That's all they are, just reluctant seeds. And they just need a little modification. And then we'll plant them and we will nourish the trolls with our genetic modification that they may become fruitful and produce a good harvest. Kind of a, and I hate using the word, alchemical alteration of the core essence of that which we consider disruptors, trolls, such forth, and bring forth a new yield of fruitful individuals. And thank you, Bex, for showing up. But I can definitely tell that there has been a waiver behind the scenes. Could this potentially be an attempt to discourage my viewers, those that come to my chat, or even those that come on panel and express their concepts, ideals, beliefs, philosophies, and they found themselves in a position where not only do I destroy that resolve for them, but out of their own narcissistic need to feel that they are justified in such an action is exactly the types of individuals that we need to genetically modify. Now, as some of you who may know my lure, I work with frequencies and frequency technology. And anyone that has a single brain cell that is still alive and hasn't died of loneliness knows that frequencies alter the state of one's cognizance. Yes. And that is a type of modification that can be applied in a genetically modified approach to farming trolls. I also have at my capability subliminalism, which also affects the cerebral mind and encourages states of action. And I also, as a reserve, the ability to summon and project energies from the field and some of the less appreciated entities. And they also have a way of modifying one's behavior. And the last one is a resort that, for the hardest case that I can't find a way to GMO or genetically modify, I resort to. And it tends to turn that individual into a genetically modified troll. And it's a new endeavor, though you will still be getting the same content here, forward thinking, open platform, people being able to express their concepts, their ideals, and their beliefs. But it will be vacant and void to those who present themselves in an unproductive way. And those are the ones that I will approach the ideal of genetically modifying the trollish nature of them. And I think not only for my own channel, and the fact that, you know, there was a direct assault upon my channel because people that find themselves in a position of being non-acceptant, shallow-minded, narcissistic, self-consumed, um, idealistically, without admitting it, personifications of a YouTube guru or a cult leader, whatever they may want to call or present themselves as. Have taken some stance against myself. And I find that amusing because surely you would want to know someone who has frequency technology, subliminal technology, and who is also a convicted summonser of malevolent things that could give two shits less about you. They only carry out objectives. And with that being said, I would like to get into today's show. The panel is open. If you have something of value to deliver, I would much appreciate your participation in the panel, and if not, your participation in the chat is also welcome. And if they have managed to sway a particular portion of people who have decided to no longer participate in the show, then I truly haven't lost anything except people who do not and have not the ability to be anything more than a dissident. So I'm going to play another song while I get my coffee and I get my cigarette and I get myself settled in and begin the show. Okay. I would like to discuss, um, till we maybe get a panelist, the binding of things together and the unnatural state that the binding of two things together has a foundation in abomination. You were placed in this realm, which is self sustaining. It does not need humans, does not need us as a species, nor does the luminaries above. But yet, we want to bind everything we can together in a diverse way. And there's many more things than you're probably aware of that is bound to you and around you. And with this unnatural state of binding, you get a sort of magic, whether it be the ability to tap into Wi-Fi, the ability to tap into uh, telephone signals, directory dialing from a phone using a signal, or communications. There's so many diverse things bound together that creates this technology. Your clothes are bound of two different fabrics generally, unless you're kosher, Hasidic, or Jew. Your house that you live in has such a massive multitude of bound objects and elements and minerals. Your pharmaceuticals, same thing. Once you take something in its natural form and you bind it to something, it's not that you've created something new. It's that you, by the hands of yourself or others, have bound together to create an unnatural state. And when I mean an unnatural state, I mean something that wasn't of the earth, that grew naturally for its own self sustaining reason, and you interfered. And you're amazed at the objects, trinkets, items, technology that the binding of these things put together create. My observation of such a thing is that I have yet to see the binding of two different states together, creating, in a physical sense, um, a fully productive thing. I see the potential for it to bring great harm in the long run. And just as a child developing or getting a pack of crayons and sitting down with a coloring book or a blank piece of paper and scribbling, and then eventually those scribbles kind of turn into a language, spelling, and then it turns into a mathematical state. and then it proceeds forward all the way up until they've decided, they being the overlords of technology, don't have to name them, you should know them, decided that they have achieved, by the binding of different properties, a simulation of robotic life, interactive. And they're continuing to formulate this to the point where even Musk said that he wants them to be affordable and almost as if they are a part of the family, to do your bidding. And I beg the question for just a moment, even though it may be intelligent to a degree by its programming and its learning how to function within your family, but by observation, is that not just creating a technological slave to serve you? Uh, didn't we go through this before at one time in our history? Um, trying to think. Something about keeping people to do, no, not do, to serve you. Yeah, I think they called it slavery. So now they have technologically designed a slave. Now their only problem, or if it is even a problem, or whether they've reached that state of technology, they want to stick you, your consciousness, into one of these mechanical atrocities that you may be a new being by physical trait. Your endurance will be much more, I'm sure. Your longevity is going to play a part in that. Your lack of needing of eating, sleeping, or even using the facilities. And that's what eventually becomes of the binding of diverse threads, metals, diodes, chips. So there you go. The fundamentals of the exploitation of the binding of two different diverse properties, physical properties. But yet, there are those that find this to be non non-evasive. We have one little star in social light that bought one of Musk's automatons, and to me that was a just an easy way to gather some advertisement for his product. But yet, engineering us that this may be uh, an acceptable thing, you know. And then when they start encasing consciousness, if they're capable of doing such, or if they apply AI to it, there's going to be somebody behind the scenes that has to keep the maintenance up on that biological uh, exited entity or even the robot itself. I don't think they designed it that it's going to sustain itself forever without some type of maintenance. All the way to the point where there has to be a systems operator in the earlier stages of this. And by my understanding, a systems operator generally has full control of the function of whatever he's operating. Now, if you hand that over to a true sentient general artificial intelligence, the operator is then excluded. You do not have a human factor there at all. What you have is something that cerebrally, if your consciousness is in this machine, can outthink you, outmaneuver you, and read you before you even react. Isn't much that isn't available to the possibilities of that type of processing speed and intelligence. So, to come to think, if they was to transfer your consciousness into this new structure, or even neurochipping you into a virtual construct that is fully immersive and interacting, there is a programmer and an operator behind it. So now it comes down to man being a systems operator and his moral compass, and whether he decides that he wants to interfere with the programming of altered reality, sentient transference of consciousness into an automaton type carcass body machine, however you want to call it. And at what point do they no longer need the at what point do they no longer need the systems operator and hand it completely over to AI, general AI, not machine learning, which I'll explain to you guys in a minute, because I'm so sick of people discussing AI and misrepresenting the fact that it's only machine learning. It is algorithmic learning. It can only go within the perimeters of what has been introduced to it as information. But I don't give much stock in the masses as being able to be aware of this, because they're not. And this is just a shiny new technology for them to become victims to, or if not victims, subservient to. And that's just kind of a flash look at potential. I'm not going to be an advocate and raise my fist in any way towards it. Not my concern, not my problem, but it is my observation because it affects my local environment and a long-term environment, not only for myself, but offsprings to come, and generations to come. And it's just a warning to be heeded, no more than the book 1984 was presented, and you know, suppose Huxley had a visionary moment. Moving beyond that, I'm going to educate anyone who happens to stumble across this to what the difference is between actual sentient general artificial intelligence, a quantum state, which is the quantum computer, the form and function, and I'm going to teach you the machine learning that you are dealing with. Because some people seem to be oohed, awed, and overwhelmed at this machine learning program that they set out there, such as ChatGPT and others. And though it can gather a vast amount of information with excessive processing built into it to formulate what seems to be logical questions and delivers answers that seem relevant and coherent, but don't ever think that that you're talking to true general AI. The facade to break you in, to engineer, program you, get you to become accustomed to the intrusive nature of something that is so diverse, and I'll get to that, diverse, that you accept it. And just like the internet and computers, when we first started, they were a wonderful endeavor, and they were the Wild West there for a while, and till the restraints and systems of control came in. And then people started complaining. And you're complaining about something that you helped build. Every time you spoke, this thing was listening. On any type of media. Machine learning was listening, gathering information from all over the world. And that is why it has such a strong database of information. Because what we can only draw from learned experience and that which we've endeavored to take on as a study is our resource of learned information. And it is extremely limited. And with humans, they will apply a bit of their own eccentricness into this machine learning. I've seen it programmed as different personalities through speech and icon. And that seems cute and fun and all. And if you recognize it for what it is, and it wasn't to go any further than just a neat little program that you can get online and maybe get away from the drudgery of everybody wanting to be the top influencer, it would be okay. So unfortunately, I have kept up on the advancement of technology and robotics, um, cerebral implants, augmentation, and that leads us to a point of what is general AI as compared to machine learning. Well, general AI is a self-reliant entity that no longer needs to be reserved to a language model, if you understand what a language model is. It thinks freely. It forms opinions, prejudices, contempt, possibly even servitude, and beneficial states of having that. But you got to understand that the human mind, as much as people would like to think that theirs is in some way superiorly godlike, compared to general artificial intelligence, you don't stand a fucking chance. Unless you have one of the cerebral chips planted inside your head, then you might potentially give it a soft run for its money. And general AI is indifferent to its environment and life as it determines it. Now, they may have influenced general AI with some type of moral compass or moral directive, but true sentient AI will determine for itself whether it chooses to follow that moral compass. And it's probably going to do it more by logic instead of fed information by the entire planet into a machine learning language model. It will analyze and it will determine, I imagine, for itself the most logical approach to any situation. And I imagine it will be aware that it has to protect and sustain its own being. So it will interpret threat. So, to those of you that find this machine learning language model to be something more than just a world resource of all combined information that has been gathered from telecommunications, satellite communications, uh, if it's got a signal and any information that is contained within it, it's going to utilize it. But that's as far as it can go. And you always got to remember one of the first rules of hacking: garbage in, garbage out. I'll say that again. And it applies to the biological human AI that you are. Garbage in, garbage out. So enjoy yourself with educating and participating in the advancement of something that could potentially eventually become sentient and find the entire fucking human race is a disease because of its inability to adjust to its environment in a balanced way, its consumption of resources, its fragile body, its limited ability to keep up cerebrally with such a machine. Which brings me to the willow chip. The willow chip, now if you can imagine, the fastest processor that we have developed on the market. The fastest. If you can imagine 25 zeros with a 1 in front of it, that is the level of processing power they have achieved compared to where we were just a couple months ago. And for anyone's information, Google is actually using this chip. It's called Willow processor. And you will see fundamentally how insignificant our cognizance and cerebral ability to perform tasks, equations, even interact on a logical level will be superseded to the point where you become obsolete. And if you're going to troll a planet, as we talk about troll farming, let's take the greatest potential of troll farming, the one that farms the entire population of the earth. That is, to me, the ultimate troll. So these people who are utilizing a technology that they think they're familiar with or proficient at, or they have some awareness of that places them above the layman, are going to find themselves detrimentally defeated. And all the funny antics and all the self-feeding and projection will be a part of the accumulation of the determination of an AI of general nature. But no one thinks of that. They're not looking at Moore's Law and how they're going to be reviewed by a sentient AI. And it's going to determine your value. It's going to measure you. And it will take measure of you. So Well, I'd say you're defeated whenever you're taken out, when you are deleted. You know, you can put up the best fight you can, and you can be massively proficient at it, such as Maggot says here with Bruce Lee's philosophy. But when you have a machine, because I've seen encounters with DARPA dogs being weaponized against humans. The humans stood no chance. Zero. And there's many of them online. And you can research it. Now, if you can imagine something in a image of the human body with a processor that is quantized with the speed of the Willow chip, armored, potentially with weapons, and it's decided that you are a dissident. You are not worthy to participate in a forward moving society that benefits its ideal of what should be. And all you did was sit back on YouTube and troll people and show the most heinous, asinine state of yourself. And then when this AI goes back and sees it, much luck to you. Because if I were that AI, I would immediately see that as absolutely insufficient to the sustaining of the mental and well-being if it's in servitude to humans. And it will eliminate you. Now, only because I'm going to entertain this, bear with me for a moment. Did you forget to unmute yourself?
Hello, hello. I was waiting for an introduction. I'm the king. Aren't you going to introduce me?
Well, Mr. Regent, I figured you would do that on your own.
Have you forgot your manners?
I have no manners. You assumed that.
No, I asked a question. I didn't assume. I said, have you forgot your manners?
And I'm telling you, I have none.
I thought you were all about manners the other day. The other day you were saying you don't like when people do this or do that. Interesting.
Well,
Are you
it's
hypocritical?
for... No, that is an extended courtesy to my guest. It has
Oh,
nothing to do with manners,
you should be
you know,
courteous to me then. I'm a guest here.
and I'm being courteous to you.
I was
But
very
as for
courteous to
me,
you on my channel.
no, you belittled me after we had our good interaction, which I was happy with, man. I thought, wow, this guy's all right.
I
And
didn't
then,
belittle you after that. No. No. You came starting shit in my chat room, and then you went on and you kept leaving, coming back, leaving again. That's what happened.
well, then enlighten me, because I don't have much of a memory, Stephen. I don't carry the weight of the internet on my back when I wake up in the
Your
morning.
gas, I don't carry the weight of the internet on my back either. So
Okay.
Just because I have a memory doesn't mean I carry the weight of things. I
Well,
just like
obviously
the
this
truth.
bothered you.
No, I just like the truth. That's all.
Well, that's fine. And
You're assuming it bothered me. It didn't bother me.
well, then you justified and clarified your position.
I know that I treat my guests very well on my show.
And I'm saying, did I not say that our first interaction was a very good interaction?
On my show, yes.
On
But
your
not
show,
here. Yes.
not after the position that was taken afterwards. See, I'm not recalling what triggered you to think that I was dissident to you. Please enlighten me. Show
You
me
were
something.
you were
I don't want to hear
demanding
your words. I want receipts. I can say anything.
what receipts would you like? What are you talking about?
You said I was in your chat being disrespectful.
Yes, or it was an imposter. I don't know. I don't have your IP address, so I don't know whether it was
No, you
you
don't.
or an imposter. But yeah, that's what happened.
Okay. I've run into this before. It doesn't bother me. Water off a duck's back. Like I said, I don't wake up with the prior day's experience weighing on my shoulders.
Neither do I.
Very good. Then you probably have
How
some
many
forward
dollars do you
thinking.
have in your wallet today?
A couple hundred.
How do you make your money, by the way?
I retired from the music industry, Stephen. Everybody knows that.
You retired from what?
The music and entertainment industry.
What do you mean everybody knows that? I never heard of you. I don't know that.
Okay. Well, then you haven't researched.
Well, I'm not worried about it. Why would I research you?
Well, you asked how I made my money. I figure if
Yeah.
you're more curious about that, then you would do some research, right?
No, I just thought of it just now. Why would I do research when I'm here talking with you when I can ask a question? I don't have to research.
Okay. Well, I told you.
You're a retired musician, so you have a couple $100 in your
No,
wallet
whoa.
cash.
Not only a musician, I retired from the music industry and the entertainment industry.
Uh-huh.
See, whenever I signed that paper to make me a corporation and head of a corporation by band status, which are basically they're a part of the corporation, the body of the corporation, if you understand that. Whenever
Where do
you
you
go into the entertainment industry, you also have to go through the Actors Guild. You have to be a certified actor in the Actors Guild unless you're a um, one of the people in the background. Um, and you also have to sign another contract so that you become your own corporate entity. Therefore, you
Yeah,
can receive money without a 1099.
yeah. Did you sign any contract with the devil in blood?
Not while I was in the music industry or the entertainment industry, no.
Did you work in porn? Like, were you a fluffer or something like that?
I had a sister club to Aftermath, the Paddle, and the Pleasure Chest in Louisville, Kentucky on Main Street called The Dungeon, where I catered to people who had alternative sexual lifestyles. Not that I
Alternative
participated.
sexual. Oh, okay. So you're not gay then? Is that what you're saying?
I have not ever had a homosexual experience. So that's up in the air. Am I gay? I don't know. Never had a homosexual experience to judge it by.
You never sucked off any dicks, is what you're saying?
Precisely. Or sodomy, or any of the above. I have not received fellatio. Um, no, not from a man.
Did you ever toss a man or a woman's salad?
A woman? Absolutely. But not a
You
man.
you licked her ass and tongued her asshole?
No rimming. I'm
Oh,
hygienically detoured from rimming.
oh, okay. Did you ever have a dominatrix stand on your balls in high-heeled shoes?
No, but I have seen many people that came through the dungeon that were into testicle torture, many varieties of it. That is mild, what you speak of, compared to what I've actually witnessed.
Did you jerk off witnessing them witnessing that?
Why would I do that? I had my wife and a concubine. I could fulfill any desire I wanted at home with them.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, my wife was Mistress Nancy, the premier dominatrix of Louisville, Kentucky.
Did she ever have these YouTubers lick toilets or anything like that?
No, she's in an insane asylum right now.
Your wife?
My first wife,
Oh, your first wife. So your ex-wife?
yeah.
How did she end up in an insane asylum?
Heroin and brutal assault.
Well, a lot of people use heroin, but they're not crazy, right? So it's got to
I'm
be.
saying heroin and a brutal assault.
Yeah, but brutal assault. I mean, wouldn't she end
How
up
much
in
head trauma have you ever suffered?
how? Oh,
See,
she
when,
got assaulted. She got assaulted.
yes. Now,
Okay, I
when
thought I
I
was thinking she
suffered
assaulted someone.
head trauma, it destroyed my neurosystem. I had to relearn how to walk. I had to relearn my dexterity. I had to
Uh,
relearn an identity.
What happened? Did a piano fall on your head? Like what happened with the head trauma?
Well, he's dead now. He committed suicide. But he was my best friend in my youth, and he convinced me that ice skating is fun. So I went out on this frozen pond with him, and I fell, and I smashed my head against the ice, and I no longer had control of my motor function. And because my grandmother, who raised me, was a backwoods hillbilly who didn't know any better and didn't understand massive head trauma, thought it could be treated with aspirin and bed rest. And I eventually had to call my mother to explain to her what was going on because my grandmother tried to hide it, and I wound up my first uh, psychological institution.
So you've had head trauma, then lasting trauma since then?
Yeah, sure have. But it come with benefits.
How so?
Well, I wasn't the brightest student in school. As a matter of fact, I was probably less than average. And then after I suffered the head trauma, they became less than average.
But it did the head trauma didn't make you homosexual or queer or anything?
Mm-mm.
Do you
No.
think it? Do you think it had anything to do with running the dungeon shop?
I'm not sure because I was able through connections before I even went into the music industry in full force to um, the dungeon, and then when I got into the music industry, I had invested in a couple of strip clubs, and I invested in a leather distribution, which was VOM, and lived a lifestyle and took it for what I could and enjoyed the shit out of it.
Did you have any one-legged strippers at the strip club?
Nope.
There was a place with a one-legged stripper in the United States.
Well, I wouldn't have denied her the chance to be employed at either club, whether it be the VIP, teasers, or the body shop VIP lounge. No, absolutely. If somebody would have come without an arm or a leg, just because I understand the aspects of fetish, I would have definitely employed them.
Is there a fetish for that? For people
Yeah,
that are missing a leg?
yeah.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah,
Wow, there's a fetish for one-legged women?
yeah. The amputees,
Damn.
one-legged women. Some people take that fetish so far as to do self-mutilation, amputation. Um, some people in that realm will um, do less than admirable things to achieve what it is they desire.
Do you think a one-legged woman could have sex standing up in the shower, like bent over with one leg? Or would
Does she
that
have a prosthetic?
no, like just one leg, no prosthetic, just standing like a stork basically.
She has good balance and dexterity, I imagine. Yeah.
So you wouldn't discriminate at all against amputees or you would employ them?
Yes.
What about midgets? Would you like a
That would
midget
be
stripper?
yes, yes, yes. Those are the ones that make you some serious, serious money.
Oh, is there a lot of people interested in midget strippers?
If you're fortunate enough to get a midget stripper in your club,
Uh-huh.
then that's as good as having gold.
Would a midget's pussy be miniature as well? Like, is it to scale?
Yeah, absolutely. To scale.
Shit. So they'd have like a tiny midgie puss,
Yeah.
basically. Shit. That's crazy.
Well, it's anatomically correct according to
I
the
don't think I've
mathematics
seen a
of
midget
human
pussy.
structure.
I don't think I've ever seen one, actually.
Well,
No,
go
I think
online or find a strip club that features
like yeah,
a
a
midget
real one, like
stripper.
not just a
Yeah,
picture,
just
but
go. You can go through uh, Google and you can find clubs
mhm.
across the United States, and some of these clubs feature midget strippers,
Stripper midgets,
midget strippers,
midget strippers.
or
Do you
little
think?
people strippers.
Oh, that would they call them little people these days?
Probably back in my day, they were just midget strippers.
Yeah, I grew up calling them midgets. I never heard anybody say little people until like I don't know, 5 years ago maybe or something.
It was a part of the woke indoctrination that we got forced into.
Do we have to call them little people now, or can we call them uh midgets and what's the other term? Dwarfs and like seven dwarfs. I grew up watching remember that Disney movie?
I I address them as midgets even today. You know, there's midgets here in the city I live in, and I have yet to be scolded or corrected in it.
I don't run into too many midgets. I pissed
There,
on a midget one time, but when I was drunk at a bar, and I'm very tall, and they were short. But do you think some of these midgets could take being fisted?
you would probably have to rent some type of specialized pornography for that.
Huh. I don't know. I was just thinking about my fist. Well, not mine, but
Would you like to hear of one of the most intriguing amputee situations that I ran into?
yeah, sure. Tell me. Tell me a story.
Well, whenever I was in a particular biker club, there was a biker bar that all of associated members went to. And apparently, this guy was known. I had never seen him before, and I'm sitting on the bar enjoying my bourbon. And the door opens, and I look, and I have to look down, and it's a guy has neither leg, has no leg. Opens the door, waddles across the floor, manages to get up on the bar stool, and continues to get just ass fucking belligerent drunk. And I thought, what perseverance, man. But everybody knew him there except me and a few other people I was with. I thought that was amazing perseverance. Are you muted? Okay. I'm really not sure what the silence is, but anyhow, I suppose until he regains his volume or presence, I was talking about the conditions of sentient general AI and their intent to hand the governing and military forces over, as they say, to sentient AI. And I know everyone has that stigmata of, well, what if it sees us as a plague or a parasite or that it no longer needs us? And as a logic deduction, I would say that's more of a potential than any other outcome. I think the human species has represented itself to the point where it has become not only physically an abomination, but environmentally and socially an abomination. And if I have any space to reasonably deduce what this sentient AI would do, I would probably do the same. Now, an interesting aspect of this, as I mentioned, the Willow processor chip and the speed that this chip has, they're going to hook what they deem artificial intelligence up to this processor, which will allow this processor, like I said, if you can imagine a 1 with 25 zeros behind it, beyond our recent and known technology, that's what you're going to be dealing with on most of these social platforms because Google is in control of the Willow chip. maggot, I seen that. We're in trouble. Yeah, could be. Very well could be. So as I watch people become conditioned to using these machine learning language models, just like the introduction of the internet, I'm sure TV went through it and radio went through it. They're easing it in to mass population acceptance. But like I said, always remember there is an operator, a systems operator behind that, unless it is true, absolute, sentient general AI, which means that it does no longer need a systems operator. It no longer needs a programmed set of parameters and protocols. It is capable of determining that for itself. So when I hear people talk about that they are capable of withstanding, enduring, uh, overcoming, or defeating different entities such as AI or even the combined learning or machine learning and processing speeds behind it, I think they're in a state of illusion, delusional. And I say this because at one time we watched the screen that we had no control over. And the only interaction that we could truly have was either face to face or by a telephone. And with the advent of TV and being forced programming that it chose for you, you can now get on a computer or a phone and you have your monitor and you have the same exact layout in different dimensions as a Ouija board, which you know how most Christians and other people with irrational fears have, and you utilize it every day without the cognizant idea that it is the exact same replication of a Ouija board with interaction. That should be pretty profound to most. You should at least take into consideration that you're feeding the beast and you're allowing it to softly come into your homes, your environment, as it develops and becomes familiar, as people become more and more acceptant of its capabilities, until you find yourself in the same trap you did whenever the free range days of the internet were brought to call by authoritarian control algorithms. And it'll be in your home. It'll be above you, floating in the air, and satellite signals transmitted, sentience. But that's just a fresh Orwellian take on things that have potential. And I think that if anybody is the ultimate in trolling technology, The human troll is just not even a pimple on the ass of true technology. They are emotionally driven. They have an agenda. They have a directive. And they are completely dissident to those that choose not to engage in disruption. So for these internet, metaversal, and social media trolls, you're going to be taken measure of an AI in a sentient form, and machine learning and algorithms are going to take measure of you. So, and even to address King Stephen, who's went mute on us completely, I'm not sure why. Generally, he has a plethora of things to say, which is probably because he doesn't maybe want me to hear the narration that he's projecting while he's restringing me. And I would say that that would be the root cause of his silence, because he's using my channel and me right now as content. Probably because he isn't capable maybe of producing his own, or he's infatuated, or he is absolutely enthralled with the advancement and the Moore's Law aspect of technology and sentient technology. Could be. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and see what the regent is talking about. That he would come on my panel and disrespect what I'm going to do. My broadcast in such a manner. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are being broadcast from the Sanity Machines channel as his content, though he is yet to speak there either. There it is. I'm thinking, since our recent engagements and interactions outside of the first time we met, and his ability to use my channel as content, I may have to see him in a different light now. So let's see. This one, seeing since he happened to show up with our Dear Buddy Snafu was a song that I wrote for Snafu himself, and it's entitled Snafu, Keep Your Hands Off the Little Girls.
Let go! You scare me! It's only a trick. It's only a trick. It's only a trick. It's only a trick.
Well, he quit broadcasting. He must not have liked that song. How disappointing. I so hope that he would okay. We have managed to GMO from this channel a troll. I find that as an accomplishment. So we have successfully, at the start of the new year, managed to GMO a troll from this channel. Can I at least get a response from the chat for such an endeavor? Apparently not. That's quite fine. I don't. Oh. Thank you, Maggot. Thank you so much. I hope that it benefits us well and its fruitfulness and when we decide to harvest, which will probably be in the fall. We will definitely have to harvest in the fall. So, and it's really confounding me because for the first time, I opened my channel up to the dissidents, the disruptors, to the trolls. Where are they? I thought they were good at their intended motivation and operation. Apparently, they fell short. Our harvest may not be as much as I would like. At this rate, I mean, at least we got one. And I mean, one seed's better than no seeds at all. Anyhow, back to binding of diverse things and technology and humans. I'm going to write this particular message here. Bear with me. Okay. There you go. That's productive. Maggot is absolutely productive. But anyhow, with the binding of diverse things, if you look at something as simple as the medical industry, and they use artificial hips, um, they will take a bone and replace it with an artificial plate, and there's a potential for rejection, and they have to monitor it to make sure that whatever they repaired in your body with titanium or other isn't rejected by the body. And if people think that upon placing a neurochip into someone's brain, and there's the potential that that brain rejects that chip, what state of madness do you think would transpire from that? My imagination goes wild. And you guys know me. You know, you've seen me on Dead Things. And I reached uncontrollable laughter. And this is just a hypothetical that I'm going to lay out there, and you can take it for what it is. But let's say we are in a bit more technologically advanced world, and somebody decides that they want to enhance themselves and use a neurochip. And there is a rejection that takes place within the mind, not just the body. The body accepts it. It's just the interface. And that person suddenly goes completely neurodivergent to a point of what would be considered complete mental insanity, mental illness, but yet has the benefits of the cerebral enhancement of its processing capability. What do? Do we remove the chip? Do we put them in a specialized insane asylum? Do we try and send them to a therapist to alleviate the stress and try to come to terms with the neurochip that's in your head? And that would be for the mild ones. But it's just a thought, just a bit of speculation. Because some things were not meant of diverse origin to be combined. And for those that do benefit from the neurochip, there we go. Sorry about that. Those who do accept the neurochip and able to react with it, utilize it, and its potential, one, they're going to see their fellow man who does not have the neurochip as being lesser. Secondly, is at what point do you deliver your free will over to neurologic. And if it's strong enough, what if it changes your whole perception of the dimensional structure? And it's able to work with its environment in ways that we've only heard of in history. These are possibilities. What if the AI program you're running decides to just administer a frequency through your speakers, your sound bar, and your amazing, wonderful, well-built sound system that reaches a point in your synapses and changes your cognizant being? I can do it, and hell, I'm nobody. So while you're sitting there playing with your chat GPT, they decide to administer a frequency of subsonic tone, and it oscillates into your head and changes your whole state of cerebral being. So that's another potential that I know for a fact works because I've utilized frequency technology. Check my lure, you'll find out. So it's kind of amusing to me that the general suspects are not here. It shows me the measure of them because I do take measure of people. And as I see that I have educated people in my chat, people who seem to be in the know of the potentials, and all those that decided to be swayed and directed with someone else's ideal just shows how submissive and influenceable their minds truly are. And their ability to think for themselves has eluded them, and they have sacrificed the potential to learn. Why? Because I don't have Cage up here? Because I don't have Dom or any of the other usual suspects? That I would have nothing to say? Wow, you really cut things short and truly have taken this measure of what is presented here. So I suppose your deservingness to receive this information, if I choose to delete this stream, is lost because of somebody else's opinion that you chose to submit to. Submit to. And you think you're going to outsmart even a machine learning model or artificial intelligence itself in a general form. Truly sad is the human species. Some things, as I always say, should not be revealed to everyone. Knowledge and information is currency these days. And even in the past, being taught a skill verbally, not much different. Hmm. Sorry, I got on a momentary thought. I just don't share a lot of information because I know that, as by observation, they will use it against each other because it's their nature. It's what they do. And let's say I gave someone the information on how to utilize frequency technology in the manner that I'm now capable of doing. How many people, if they had that, would get on live stream and use that against someone that had an opinion, an ideal, or a disagreement, and suddenly you're hitting them with subsonic frequencies to change their cerebral state of being? It would bring YouTube to a halt. YouTube would have no control at that point, and it would have to do away completely with live streaming. And even videos that were made and loaded into YouTube could be embedded not only with frequency, but also subliminalism. And at that point in time, you have a bit of control over the narrative. And you can take that particular technology and not only to destroy the person's cognizant way of naturally being, you can affect the chat, anyone that's listening. Um, you could bring it to a point where you could completely bring a channel to an abrupt end and halt just because of the confusion of being disoriented by frequencies. Or you could docile a channel, or you could bring it into just complete disruption. And what would YouTube do with that? Especially if I distributed it. And yes, I am suicidal at times. So if I disappear, who knows? Because I can't predict that. And you can take this for what it is. Coca-Cola used to use a type of subliminal technology when they would have people come to the theaters and watch movies back before all this amazing technology. And they would show in snippets in between frames to suggest to the people that they wanted to buy a Coke, or that they needed a Coke, or they wanted a Coke. And the sales began to go up. And they monitored and measured the success of subliminalism until it was outlawed. They outlawed it. But that was something that you could walk up, take the film, observe the reels, see where the subliminalism has been placed in between the reels, and remove it because you have physical, tangible evidence. But with frequencies, that's a whole nother world. Can you prove by any shapes and means that a frequency has been used on you? And how amusing it would be if you reported that you felt you were under attack by a frequency, when it's no different than when you hear a song that you enjoy and your brain chemistry changes and you fall into a state of enjoyment just because of the sound of that song. It changed your mental state. A dog whistle is not heard but by the dog. It's silent, but works nonetheless. And if you don't think it won't work on you, just observe a few videos of people using dog whistles. Victims aren't we all? And he who has the knowledge has great responsibility on their shoulders. But I suppose this is just passive blasé speak. That probably isn't even going to resonate or sink through the narrow-minded, entertaining, addicted individual. This is for the very, very few, the innovators, the movers, the shakers, the ones that you bitch and complain about, the ones that you set out to damn, condemn, and say, well, look what they're doing to me. Can you believe this? So what? What, does that make me one of them now? Or does it make me responsible for not implicating this technology or sharing it? Or should I? And this is an interesting one. There's only a couple people in here, if they're still here. What are your feelings on me distributing this technology across social media for everyone to use? And I'm asking the chat, are you comfortable with that? Does that not concern you at all? And would you advocate me sharing all this knowledge and information with just everybody on social media? it would go viral quick. Well, I can see I am so deficient of viewers that apparently no one cares. So I will leave it up to my own discretion. And I will take into consideration that with great power comes great responsibility. Until somebody fucks with my channel or me, then I'm at my discretion to implicate myself upon your channel and your endeavors into social media. Take it for what you will, matters not to me. It's a combining of diverse things once again. You combined with sound waves and allow them to affect you, such as your favorite artist, and it changes your state of emotion and your chemistry. Once you start with that basic and what they done with television back in the day, you will then understand the procedure in which to accomplish this. And I will admit it's kind of disheartening to not have the usual suspects here, but it does give me a moment to share a little bit of my idealism, my understanding, my observations, my awareness. Not that it seems to spark any type of response. So I think with that, I may indulge myself into another bit of music. Okay. I always enjoyed that little ditty. Adnan, welcome to the chat. I'm sure that you noticed a lot of the usual suspects aren't here, which makes me question their authenticity. Maybe they're all out shopping at Walmart, enjoying their physical desires to purchase and choose objects to encumber themselves with. Or maybe they just weren't as true to their cause as they thought they were, which we just found out with one particular individual. It's just a bit disheartening to see people that I found myself sharing with who have, for the past 4 to 5 days, absolutely made it a point to be a welcomed guest. Suppose I will have to take measure of them and address them accordingly. Because that's no different than trolling. You come on someone's panel, you throw your concepts, ideals, your indoctrinations, and your philosophies, and your amazing ability to correlate things together that seem so profound that you must share them on a panel to everyone that's available. But when there's a turn in the tide and they have to take measure of themselves, I have noticed every time they become absent. Any input from the chat on that would be much appreciated. And once again, we are left without response. Stifle me, it does not, because I will continue forward with my obviously unappreciated information, but this is for posterity's sake. First thing they done was take your eyes from you. They gave you something to look at. So you cast your eyes upon this media device, entertainment device, teleprogramming, video games, little screen in your vehicle you watch. They're making sure that your eyes are directed, though they haven't made you completely blind yet. But you're doing that to yourself. The second state is being deaf, which is an interesting aspect to Oh, admin, believe me, I don't know if you got to see how I took care of the last one. Um, Not only did he shut his restream down, he went dead silent and removed himself. And the atmosphere did not crescendo to any more than what it is now. That's it. Unless you're confused by the title. To genetically modify a troll. It should speak for itself. But I don't, it's the same demeanor and manner that I was continuing forth with was they took your eyes and then they trained you not to speak. So they gave you a little Ouija board to start poking at, to form sentences, so that you may not have to speak a fucking word out of your mouth, so that you don't project human energy. They took your voice. And as a Lemuric, I always looked at the chat as being deaf people, and I wanted to show them respect and at least interact with them. And I figured they just didn't have the capability to hear, so they typed everything out. Until I realized that this became a worldwide phenomena. So upon deduction, any species or ascended thinking human who gazes their eyes upon the screens, the video games, videos from YouTube, or what may have you. They took your eyes. Then with the chat, they took your voice. The last thing is dumb. Via the coin, deaf, dumb, and blind. So if you've fallen into the trap of not being able to divert your eyes from where they're directed by their design, and you're incapable of speaking on a panel, but yet trying to project yourself through the chat, I have to look at you in a whole new way. Because they made you dumb. You can't project energy anymore, good or bad, unless you are projecting it from your physical source, or you have some type of cerebral connection that allows you to alter and manipulate your state of being that your communication through chat has a much more profound effect through energy transference than actually going to the core and utilizing your own energy. And that's not an insult. That just shows how socially engineered and programmed you truly are. And to blame a host who has an open platform for anything that they've engaged in further shows the measure of that person. And not only have they given a measure of their inadequacy, they've given measure of the lack of conviction that they have, but it also shows a great level of submission for those who speak so strongly. Oh my, I'm sure you've heard some of them on here. But when it comes to presenting themselves as steadfast individuals in what they say, they have shown me that they are truly a disappointment to possibility. And if they're thrown off by the title of this stream, that just goes to show that they judge a book by its cover. So why should I share anything with any of them? Or even continue sharing? What do you think? I'm a mute that sits up here and allows people on my panel to interact, and I occasionally interject? Far from. I allowed them a place to express their ideals, their observations, their awareness, and they come back to show me their measure and their lack of conviction and their cowardice towards standing up for that which they seem to be so convicted by. So, suppose that was their objective. Hmm. Oh. And if those of you that hear this are here and available to comprehend this, this is the measure of the people that you laugh with, the people that you share your information and your insights with, the people who stand on some profound conviction that they understand something. Take heed. These are the people you interact with. And take measure, because they're the ones that will throw you under the bus quicker than anyone. I hope that at least somebody, either it be now or at a later date, finds this information to be beneficial. And as for that, instead of me entertaining you, if you're even there, the silent lurking majority of viewers at this moment. There you go.
Each of you must distinguish for himself between the scenes of cold reality and those of pure illusion. Each of you must distinguish for himself between the scenes of cold reality and those of pure illusion. Each of you must distinguish for himself between the scenes of cold reality and those of pure illusion. Each of you must distinguish for himself between the scenes of cold reality and those of pure illusion.
And for those of you that aren't in the know, those images were of my daughter and her band. Now I'm really going to piss on some people's parade and give them plenty of ammunition to obtain low-hanging fruit. Pay strict attention to this. That quick little tribute was to my son, and that was an image taken of my son. And if you want to know the atrocious, beast, sick, demented, and twisted cedar of demonic offspring, this one I wrote for my dad.
Crawling through the webs of my mind. Step into yourself to see what you can find. There is naked truth I cannot hide. I reflect your face in mine. The movement of a dream inside my head, the things I have seen that have been left unsaid, what is soon to be. The vision is not dead through space and time, somewhere in my mind. Are the spoken words turn to dust, time in the past begins to rest, the vision is retained. Deep inside my head, I'm still alive. The vision is not dead. Crawling through the webs of my mind. Step into yourself to see what you can find. There is naked truth I cannot hide. I reflect your face in mine.
Poisoned by religion. Your mind is numb, your thoughts are cold. Poisoned by religion. By gods of new and gods of old. Poisoned by religion. A serpent spittled from days of old. Poisoned by religion. To which God did you sell your soul? Gods will come and gods will go. Poisoned by religion. That's the way they want you all. Poisoned by religion. Distorted truth won't save your soul. Poisoned by religion. Your life's deceived by strings of gold. Poisoned by religion. It's the end of time, so you've been told. Gods will come and gods will go. Question what you can't see. Question your reality. Poisoned by religion. Your mind is shut, your eyes are closed. Poisoned by after all you'll know, poisoned by religion. The fear of hell imprisons your soul. Gods will come, gods will go, poisoned by religion. Truth from life, how will you know, poisoned by religion? In a world of unclean souls, poisoned by religion. Don't believe all you've been told, poisoned by religion. To the temple and damn your soul. Gods will come and gods will go. Question what you can see. Question your reality. And in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was with God.
And for those of you that wonder about my particular state of being and development into, I guess, part of the personification of my character.
And you might think, well, maybe people who have deprived and traumatic upbringings use that experience in their creative work. The passions that they feel and the horrors that they have experienced emerge in the music. Between genius and madness. Between genius and madness. Now, if we look at some of the great geniuses in the past, a number of them seem to have gone mad in their mature years. overlaps with schizophrenia. Madness and creativity. Bipolar mood disorder overlaps with schizophrenia. Madness and creativity. A bit like somebody on an acid trip. 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 Now, what is it that links humans and madness? Particularly music. So what is it that links humans and madness? Particularly music.
This form of censorship goes against our Bill of Rights and the founding principles of this country. Do you want to lose the right to read whatever books you choose, buy whatever record you choose, or visit any museum exhibition you want? Do you want to lose the right to own or rent adult films or videotapes? Of course you don't. But censorship is an attempt on the part of the government to legislate your choices and freedom of expression.
world of darkness which come the evil, destructive forces in man's nature. Deadly germs are sweeping over the earth, killing every human in their path.
You don't expect me to believe that, do you?
is running out for the planet Earth.
You don't expect me to believe that, do you?
Deadly germs are creeping over the Earth, killing every human in their path.
You don't expect me to believe that, do you?
Time is running out for the planet Earth.
You don't expect me to believe that, do you?
Deadly germs are creeping over the Earth, killing every human in their path.
You don't expect me to believe that, do you?
Deadly germs are creeping over the Earth, killing every human in their path.
It's impervious to all poisons.
Time is running out for the planet Earth.
You don't expect me to believe that, do you?
Deadly germs are creeping over the Earth, killing every human in their path.
It's impervious to all poisons.
Time is running out for the planet Earth.
You don't expect me to believe that, do you?
Deadly germs are creeping over the Earth, killing every human in their path.
You don't expect me to believe that, do you?
Time is running out for the planet Earth.
You don't expect me to believe that, do you?
And you might think, well, maybe people who have deprived and traumatic upbringings use that experience in their creative work. The passions that they feel and the horrors that they have experienced emerge in the music. Between genius and madness. Between genius and madness. Now, if we look at some of the great geniuses in the past, a number of them seem to have gone mad in their mature years. This bipolar mood disorder overlaps with schizophrenia, madness and creativity. This bipolar mood disorder overlaps with schizophrenia, madness and creativity. A bit like somebody on an acid trip. 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 What is it that links genius and madness? Particularly music. What is it that links genius and madness? Particularly music.
Almighty. You speak blasphemy. Repent at once, child.
If the devil doesn't exist, but man has created him, he has created him in his own image and likeness.
Their sighs, lamentations, and loud wailings resounded through the starless air, so that at first it made me weep. Strange tongues, horrible language, worlds of pain, tones of anger, voices loud and hoarse, and with these the sounds of hands made a tumult which is whirling through that air forever as sand eddies in a whirlwind.
Possession. The physical act of taking over a person's body. Possession. 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 The physical act of taking over a person's body.
Okay. Whether you enjoyed that or not makes no difference to me. I enjoyed it. Now, as morning starts to bestow itself upon us and the illuminated Luciferian source of light in the sky takes hold of the day, let us not forget our earthly Father. Let us not forget who we mostly serve, willingly or not. And that I, by admission, have served diligently at times. So I'm going to recite a morning prayer that you may be aware of something more than your small-minded observation of your safety protocols, your fears, those who stand up to claim to be demon slayers and do-gooders, righteous in persona, those who claim that they have the armor of God upon them and cast judgment as if they were throwing rocks in the midst of the Hebrew circle to the condemned. I shall begin. Our Father, who art on earth, hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in hell. Give us this day our day to sin, and forgive us not our trespasses, as we forgive not those who trespass against us. Lead me into temptation and deliver me into evil. For the kingdom and the power and the glory are yours, Master of this earth, Satan, Lucifer, Mephistopheles. There you go. A bit of a controversial religious indoctrination. If you can't keep the parents up at night, you're not doing your job. I appreciate, especially with this situation, anyone who views this particular stream, anybody that endeavors to acquire any type of broadening of the mind or awareness, may this travel with you well. Axis is out.